It's Oscar weekend, and you know what that means. I broke out the tuxedo. I'm Paul DeGarabedian, Senior Media Analyst for Comscore, and since it's Oscar weekend, I thought I'd go over the Best Picture nominees, how much they've earned collectively at the box office, compare that to the previous year's crop of films, and also look back at the Oscar weekends at the box office overall, historically, according to our Comscore data. So let's get right into it. Now, when we look at the nominees for Best Picture this year, it's quite top-heavy with Wicked and Dune Part 2 accounting for 83% of the $916 million collectively earned by all the Best Picture nominees this year. Now, those two films alone have earned $755.5 million in domestic box office, again, accounting for the lion's share of the overall box office for the entire crop of Best Picture nominees. This is nothing new. Since the Academy decided to allow 10 films to be nominated for Best Picture back in 2009, that has opened the door for blockbusters to enter the mix of Best Picture contenders. Notably, the year that Barbie and Oppenheimer were nominated, they accounted for 85% of the $1.135 billion domestically that the Best Picture nominees collectively earned. Now, if we go back and look at historically Oscar weekends at the box office, they've been pretty strong. It's not like Super Bowl weekend where everyone's fixated on football and they're not really paying attention to the movie theater or going to the movie theater or movies in general. Oscar weekend puts a spotlight on movie going. It's basically a 3.5, sometimes 4-hour infomercial for the movie going experience, for that big screen experience. So if we go back in history, let's just take some random years. So back in 2017, the weekend started on February 24th. Oscars Sunday was on the 26th. That weekend earned $124 million, with Get Out opening that weekend to $33.4 million. Now, in 2018, we had Black Panther, which was, I believe, in its third weekend, earning $66 million, powering $149 million overall Oscar weekend. And if you really want to go back in time, if we go back to March of 2010, a movie called Alice in Wonderland opened that weekend. That was Friday, March 5th, the Tim Burton, Johnny Depp, Alice in Wonderland. That weekend, Oscar weekend, generated overall $196.8 million. That was up 41% from the weekend before the Oscars. So Oscar weekend can be really strong at the box office. The only downside is that this year, this may be one of the lower grossing Oscar weekends for movie theaters. But, you know, we are running about 21% ahead of last year, so we can handle one down weekend. It'll be Captain America three-peating at the top of the chart. The overall weekend this weekend will probably only generate like $50 million, but there's a lot of big movies on the way. Mickey 17 on March 7th, Snow White, Disney's Snow White on the 21st of March, and then, look, April and May are going to be huge, and the summer is looking great. So that's a look back at Oscar weekends historically. There'll be charts in this video that you can freeze frame to take a look at those top movies, how much they've earned, and what a great selection of films this year. I think it's a real toss-up. I mean, in all the categories, the major categories, it's so incredibly competitive. And I mean, when you have films like Anora and Conclave and A Complete Unknown, and of course Wicked and Dune Part 2 and Emilia Perez and Nickel Boys and The Substance and The Brutalist and I'm Still Here. But when you have these great movies out there, it's just a great time to be a moviegoer. And 5 of the Best Picture nominees are still in theaters right now, so you go see them before the Oscars, which I highly suggest. So I'm Paul DeGarabedian, Senior Media Analyst for Comscore, and I'll see you at the Oscars.